Welcome back to the program, the Mark LaJoy Show. We had technical difficulty, and don't ask me what it was. I don't have any clue. It's I think we got gremlins in this building or something or other. I mean, batteries go dead and everything. If you believe in ghosts or any of that kind of stuff, I don't know. But we were 20 minutes into the show, and we finally got into the nitty gritty, the meat of it, and we started talking about election and election results. So what we'll probably do is we'll continue on from here from the very beginning, and then the pre-recorded stuff, we'll have it audited so that the beginning or so that the end of it has gets worked into it. But I'll just go very quickly go over the what I wanted to say, and this is especially the show, the advertising packages. We're going to have an advertising package that if you want to advertise on the program, we're building this show and we're getting it bigger and bigger. We have more, we've had up to 247,000 people turning it in. And so that's very significant. And so what we want to do is we want to build this program. And so we will sell advertising, for $300 a month. These are some of the things that we'll agree to on the contract. You have 1 30-second commercial spot during each episode to show your business as a live sponsor. Mentions personally delivered by myself during the broadcast. Premium brand association trusted and represented in local media. I'm frustrated right now because of the technical issues, but we'll work around it. It is what it is. Early strategic positioning, establishing top of the mind awareness as a podcast audience scales, protected charter rate, locking in that exceptional long-term advertising value as a viewership grows. And so these are going to be the advertising packages for the whole program. We hope that it sells, which I think it will. That's some of the things that we have to understand is that we've got to advertise. We got to make money.
Yes.
And we will do that. But just remember, TV is out. TV and radio is one of the things in the past. These digital marketing efforts that we do right now are huge. They're huge. And every day we see new podcasts coming. If you tune in on the TVs, there's a new podcast on CNN or Fox or NBC or ABC or
and
one
we
of
have
those.
about 3. I feel like we have 3 here locally, maybe a little bit more. I don't want to give them any shout out yet.
Yeah, we don't give no shout out because we're not going to shout out at competitors. But Double M Marketing and Dave Nally has been our host here at the studio, and he's been very gracious for us to help us build this program.
Yes.
And so what we want to do is start advertising, and we will start working the advertising packages into our show, and we will break periodically, and we'll do everything that's required, what you want for advertising. So this is the new medium. Join it, get on board, and we'll be here for you. So we'll just reach out to Dave at Double M Marketing, and we'll work out the packages for you.
What's his contact? Like, does he have specific email that people can
go
to?
Double M Marketing, I've got his sheet here. It's basically rates available by request. He's got different stuff, but it's doublemmarketing.com. And then it's Dave at doublemmarketing.com. So Dave with a capital letter. So you can, and the phone number here is 706-615-37905. Niner, there's that military stuff in me again. Everybody goes like, what's a niner? 9 for you civilian folks. 9.
10-4, good
9,
buddy.
yeah, okay. And then, what I wanted to do was, again, wish my, happy 46th anniversary to my wife, Martha, which is huge,
Yay.
God knows she's put up with enough of my shit over the years. And especially when these campaigning things, I know it doesn't mean a lot to people out here, and the candidates, but, it really takes a lot for a candidate to step up and run for an office.
Yes.
And I think you found that out with your husband.
Yeah,
you ran for school board, and then your
did.
husband ran. So
yes, both of which were stolen from
yeah,
us.
both of stolen elections, mine too.
Allegedly.
How about 4 times?
Allegedly.
4 times for me. A lot of people have been telling me, they said, Well, why don't you just move on to a different market, try to get. So we're going to talk a little bit about the redistricting at the end of the program. But yeah, Martha stood by me for 46 years, all those years of deploying, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So we had good and bad times, like every, relationship does. If there's a perfect relationship, I don't know what there is.
Yeah, but 46 years is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a big
it
deal.
is.
It's a really a big deal for us because there was times, we get each other's throat sometimes, but usually we end up, separating and working it out later down the line, and that's what's the most important thing is, we did those things and stuff like that, and a personal relationship or a married relationship is not an easy thing. It's not easy to, especially when you got kids involved, and of course you all got kids, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not for the weak. Let's just say it. There's a lot of compromise and laying down what you want, just knowing that it's good for your spouse and it's also good for the family you built together. So yeah, it's definitely not for the weak.
Yeah.
Be ready to serve and to die.
Right.
Yeah, ready to serve. That's exactly what it is too, because you'll give your life and blood, for your children into doing the things that you got to do. You got to keep them fed. You got to keep them entertained.
Keep
you got
them alive.
keep them alive. Keep them clothed.
Keep them from killing each other.
Yeah, keep them killing each other. Of course, you probably know all of that, right? So. Yeah, Julia's got
all
about
my
20
boys.
critters at home, but
Yeah.
20.
so, yeah.
25.
Or at least it sounds
Adding
at least it sounds like 20 of them when I call up there. But
Right.
That's okay.
Anyways.
But that's what it is. So we did talk about the curfew, and what's important about the curfew was, and I'll just read the key points of the curfew, and again we'll just go back over it. So anyone under 18 is prohibited from being designated public areas of Uptown between 9 and 5 unless exemption applies. And so the exemptions would apply to minors. These are the exemptions. If you're with a parent or guardian or supervising adult, traveling to or from work, school, religious activities, or other approved events. And there's kids that are working those restaurants that are 18 down there. So, the proposed curfew would cover portions of Uptown, roughly 8th Street and 14th Street, and between 2nd Avenue and Bay Avenue. So the proposal was introduced after reports of fights, trespassing, large groups of unsupervised minors gathering uptown. And as of the latest reports, the ordinance had received first reading on it. And if it was accepted or has been accepted, 10 days after it gets accepted, the mayor would sign it and then send it to the city clerk, and it would become an ordinance at that point.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we touched on is that it is temporary.
Yeah, it is temporary till September.
Yeah.
So it's a trial error to try to see if this thing works. I will tell you, we discussed earlier that we had a curfew here. We had a curfew in the past, and they didn't enforce it. We enforced it for a little while, and then after that, it just kind of fell by the wayside. I don't know if they rescinded the ordinance or it's still there or not. Obviously, it ain't, because they're doing they're applying this one, and there's
if it falls off like in September, of course it's no longer useful.
Yeah, probably so. So I don't know what you folks feel about that out there, about the ordinance itself. I know Sarah had a few words to say about it.
And I'll just say it real quickly.
Go ahead.
I always push back on anything that tries to overreach in our rights. And I feel like it could be a gateway, saying if we can limit what the teenagers are doing, then what's not to say that they won't do adults. And then we're already a surveilled kind of city. So that's not good. And so it just seems like there is a lot of, monitoring, and there's a lot of, you can't do this, you can't do that, which I don't like too much. But I will say that if it is going to protect the children, if it's going to keep teenagers alive and from, shenanigans that teenagers with their, I guess, brain cells that are not fully developed until 25, I guess like that is a good thing that, we have in place, and it is reasonable. I do like the idea that it is temporary. It's only for the summer, which is very high teenage activity. And so they have to be responsible.
Yeah. And then my take on it is why are we only doing the ordinance for Uptown? Like, why is it not a citywide?
Yeah.
Because we have businesses all
I'm pretty
over
sure
the
it's
city.
because of some of the influential families that own those restaurants.
They're trying to protect
and
their
hotels
assets.
down there, protecting their assets. I get it. I do understand that part of it, but are there other areas in Columbus that would warrant that type of protection?
Yes.
Is there, is the strip mall down along Victory Drive where Walmart's at? Does that warrant the protection
Well,
too?
I will say
You
that it's a sensitive situation because then there were complaints of over policing and targeting and anything
Yeah.
that's racial.
Yeah.
It kind of becomes a double-edged sword.
I know.
So it's like, I wouldn't say the D word, but it's like you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. So
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, people have to make a decision of what they want, and we just need to hear what the consensus will be for citizens of Columbus. But I think it could be a good idea if we're protecting our teenagers and our future.
Yeah, and I think that's what's important. Like I said, down on the Bay Avenue where the 16-year-old girl got shot last year in the head. I'm sensitive to the protection of the citizens and the kids too. I mean, I want to be able to walk downtown and not have to worry about somebody coming up and backside of me and shoot me in the head or the back.
Yeah.
I carry a gun. I carry a gun everywhere I go. I mean, and I'm going to carry a gun. The bottom line is if I have to use it, I'll use it. And I don't want to. But the bottom line is if we've got to protect our youth down there. And again, I would rather have the youth pissed off at me and mad as hell. I'll never come back to Columbus, but you know what? You're alive and you'll be at Christmas dinner.
Yeah, and that's right. And at the end of the day, they'll, when their brain cells are fully developed, they'll say, "Oh, that was good for me."
When they start paying taxes and bills and everything else, maybe they'll
That's
understand the reason why things are the way they are instead of going in your basement and playing
Video
games, Xbox or whatever the hell you got out there. Go out and do something productive with your life, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much on that. And we talked a little bit about that back and forth. Then we got into the election part, which is always a controversial subject.
I have a lot to say on elections and the nefarious shenanigans that go on.
Yeah,
there, in my opinion.
Look, folks, Ms. Boren, state level, whatever you're at, if you really want to bring the confidence back to voting, you got to be open and transparent about it. We spotted things on the formula that doesn't make any sense to us. And it just raises more questions and it amplifies the fact that we got a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, and so like from Sarah's point of view, like she was looking at some of the reports, and I want to say personally that Nancy was very transparent with me. Like she reached out to me after our last podcast and she, gave me the reports. I was able to look at the report numbers. The numbers matched. If I asked her any questions, she was very quick to come back. So from that perspective, she was very transparent with me. Now I know that you guys and I did see some of the things that you guys were talking about, the bold numbers, they didn't make sense. And Nancy did end up sending me back saying that, hey, this was the ink toner. And she gave me a printout that,
but it's on the computer.
But you can't, but you can see. So I'm just, I'm
well,
just saying,
if it's
you can
ink toner,
see
then
that
why is it just mine and Steve Kelly's?
No.
And there's a couple others.
No. This is all throughout the document.
Yeah, it's throughout the document.
State level.
So you got normal print, then you got emboldened print. And we said, look, I'm not a spreadsheet expert. You guys are computer experts compared to me. And anytime that you have a formula, that means there's something behind that.
I agree with that.
Because if you were to double click on it, it should take you to a formula.
It will.
Or an algorithm. Just saying.
I have a theory. If there is anything that is going on with the elections, I can't see it personally in the reporting. With it, I mean, you can conjecture all day long. There's a formula behind here, whatever, but according to what I saw, the numbers match. Everything is the way it should be. It shows that we had really low voter turnout. But if there's anything wrong with it, if there's anything, it's going to have to be within the system. And there's really no way right now to prove that.
Well, my thing is, if there is any hint of compromise, if there's any room that leaves substantial amount of reason for, hey, this is manipulation, this is nefarious, why are we using this?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, they say it's a General Assembly, a Georgia Assembly issue. But from what I've read, like a lot of these elections can be controlled at the state level. Now you will have to deal with the Secretary of State. He might want to sue you, but at the same time, you could also, like, they can't sue every county in Georgia. And just I'm going to touch on it very quickly, because I've been in this since 2021. I started in politics fresh, wide-eyed and wide open.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm trusting everybody. These people are doing good. We're all doing our due diligence. We are good people, but but what wound up happening is that you see that in 2022, you see that middle of the night, the voting count is halted, right? It's halted. And when I ran, my competitor and I were neck and neck. I was actually leading. There were so many people. It was like,
I was too.
Yeah, there were so many people that said, "Hey, Sarah, should we pop the champagne?" And like you won. But then all of a sudden, around that time that they paused that, switched, it was gone. And my even if I wanted to contest it, that narrow a margin, because you have to get a certain percentage, that was completely decimated. And so that's one thing where I was just like, oh darn, whatever. I didn't think too much of it.
I think that you should be able to challenge any result.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's 10%, 20% variance,
Yes.
100%, whatever. And the reason behind that is because we're so non-trusting of this system, this
Yes.
voting system.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. I don't understand why you're holding on to it. Is the reason you're holding on to it is because it functionally, what does it do? Is it really make it easier, or is it make it easier to cheat? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing that I want to do is, everybody's questioning the ballots. Everybody's questioning, except for the winners.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The
That's
winners
right.
are just, oh, yeah, I won, whatever. But you can't tell me that there's something going wrong. When you got Fulton County investigations
Yes. Oh my gosh.
and other places in the state, that this fraudulent stuff is already showed up. And how about the ballot stuffing from the 2024 or 2020 election?
2020, and nothing was corrected.
No.
And that's the thing. Nothing was corrected meaning the results of what happened. We were just expected to accept what happened and move on. Forget about 2020. The securest.
Don't look over here, folks.
I know. Securest election. And listen, I'm not
It was not secure.
It was not. And that's the thing. It's like, even now they're not secure and we're still asking questions. Let's flash forward to whenever I asked Ms. Boren, and I'm not trying to I'm not slandering. I am not throwing any allegations. I have every document and every transcription in discourse that I've had with Boren. I have the documents. I will present receipts. But 2022, we had the statement of voters cast that she sent to me. Tell me why you have the cards cast number and then the voters cast number. Every single race, let's say there was 5,000 votes in a precinct. Every single race was cut in half. So that 5,000 on the voters cast, instead of the cards cast saying 5,000, the voters cast said about 2,500. So you're telling me that every single race is exactly half of the value of the cards cast. The cards cast is that, go to a card and put the card in the machine.
Put it in the machine.
So I'm like, and then, I asked Ms. Boren, or I posted a video about it. And she said that, I wish you would have asked me first. And I didn't. I just saw, I have something. Let me just put it to the public, me and my naive. But, she said that it was due to charter amendments. The charter amendments caused them to double it. But here, flash forward to 2026, the voters cast and the card cast numbers are synonymous. So whatever is on the voters cast number or the cards cast number is the exact same on the voters cast.
And I would actually, because I didn't know that would be something that would be interesting to ask Nancy, because like on the reports I did see times cast, and I would think that times cast would be the same as cards cast.
Well,
would you?
I didn't have on the statements of voters cast, I didn't have a times cast number. So that wasn't there. Or maybe I didn't pay attention to it. I only saw voters casting.
So maybe we should ask her, because if cards cast is times cast, then what she told me times cast is is so time cast is how many times a vote was cast. I would think that that's synonymous with the
But times
card.
cast, yes.
And so she said, in order to get the amount of votes cast, you take the times cast number and you subtract the cumulative total of the undervotes and the write-ins. And she said that those are separate. So if I'm kind of curious, I'd be curious to ask her
Okay.
if that would,
Well-
because then that would mean that her answer changed.
Well, apparently 2020 I mean, what is this? Yeah, 2022 to 2026, a lot can happen in 4 years. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not trying to throw accusations. Everything that I say, I back it up with receipts, because at the end of the day, I'm like, this is what you said. And once again, the question becomes, if there's any bit of discrepancies or anything that causes people to be like, maybe this is not as secure as they're saying, why are we still using it?
Yeah.
Why is this still something that is a part of the most sacred and secure democratic
Yeah.
process in America?
Yeah,
So it's
we need
frustrating.
to do away with it. I mean, I'm all about doing away with it. Ballot, paper ballots. I don't
That's
care.
it. That's it. That's it.
Paper ballots. Put it all together. There's one vote, one piece of paper, and so on and so forth. I don't like this machine issue, because when you print it out, I cannot see. I don't want a freaking barcode. Okay. I don't want to see a
Exactly.
barcode or any other kind of,
That you can't read. A
that you
barcode,
cannot
you can't
read,
read those barcodes.
because you're not supposed to take the phones with you. I got a barcode reader on it. Will you allow me to take it in the booth, and then I can scan that? Okay. But you've got old people that don't know that.
Yeah.
And so when you print that up, and I want to be able to see A through B or A
Yes.
through Z who I voted for,
Yeah.
right? That way you've got a physical piece of paper that's going to
Mhm.
get scanned in the freaking machine, and that can be accounted for.
See, and I made a stinker about the QR codes
Yeah.
back in 2022. I'm just like, because, voting for the runoff, now it's like an every year thing. You have to vote in a runoff. But like, literally, I would go into there, I brought my phone, I would scan the QR code, and it would not let me go. I'm like, this is my ballot.
Yeah.
This is my property. Like, I'm casting my vote. I should be able to scrutinize every aspect
Yeah.
of my vote, but you can't scan it. And so now they have this new rule. You can't bring in phones. You can't, because we don't need more people seeing that they can't scan the QR code that's on their
Yeah.
personal ballot. Unless the last thing that we talked about previously is the fact 2026 now, past election, we have documentation of 3 different timestamps. 3 timestamps where it shows races where there's a number of all the candidates, and you have a Excel spreadsheets that has formulas in it, and these spreadsheets now show 2 different, hues or colors per se. So like in Excel, if you have a formula and you in a cell, if there's like a row of cells that has a formula, if you touch that row that has the formula in it and you change anything to the final tally, it will change the hue. So, and that's just my basic
Yeah.
knowledge. I could be corrected, say, oh, Sarah, you're wrong. But at the end of the day, it's like, why does this new documentation that's on my Facebook page, it's on my Facebook page. You guys go look at it yourself. Why does a lot of key races on the state level, on the municipal level, city level, local level, why are there so many rows sporadically changed, or it appears to be changed or altered? It appears that someone manually went in and changed vote counts. So I'm sorry, until these machines are out of here, don't you tell me that the
Yeah.
numbers, that there's a low voter turnout.
Yeah.
I just won't believe it. Like, maybe I'm a doubting Thomas right now, but I'm not believing nothing until I know for sure, until I can put until I can put my hands in the hole.
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now.
Get rid of the machine and let me be the first one down at the Chattahoochee River to tie a rope to that
Yes.
freaking thing and
Throw
throw
it
it
in
in the
the-
hooch.
Well,
All right.
from my understanding, like, so the state election board has kind of been revamped ever since the whole Fulton County bombshell with, the new, well, we say new.
What a fiasco that was.
Yeah. So, and then of course you have the United States versus Raffensperger case.
Still going
Oh,
on.
thank
It's-
God he's
yeah.
gone.
But at the same time, it's like I do see how they have been considering getting rid of the machines.
Thank you, Jesus.
So
I
don't
think the contract's up this year, if I'm not mistaken. Shortly, the contract's up.
I don't know that it's this year, but
It's soon.
I do know that in contract law you can find loopholes to
Yeah.
get out of them. And from what I was told, and this is back when Paul Nally was still living.
Why
God
get rid
rest
of
his-
it when it's working just fine for their side? I mean,
but
let's think about
here's
that.
the thing. In that original contract language, there was nothing that was provided that talked about providing a second ballot by way of the QR code. And so there are some people that were looking into the possibility of, since that was added after the original contract was signed, that may actually invalidate the contract and they can go ahead and terminate. I
some
don't-
good
I don't
things
know.
have come out of if we keep constant pressure
Yes.
on the locals and on the state level, good things come, like ballot harvesting. Can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's because of what I observed, right? And I observed it right here in Muskogee County, folks. Without a doubt, Ms. Bourne still never answered the question I asked her that night. You still haven't done it, right? Matter of fact, you turned around and walked right back in the building that night. And you know what I told you. The second part of that was after hours at 3:00 in the morning when I wasn't monitoring the ballot boxes. What the hell was going in the boxes?
Mm.
There was video because those boxes were outside under video camera. Okay. Are the videos still available? Can we go back and look at hours and hours of those things after hours? Just look at those things.
Well, someone
Because-
has that information.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the policy is. The election board would have to say all videos would have to be held for a certain amount of time and up to 2 years, or I'm pretty sure there's nothing left anymore.
Mm.
I'm sure there was a preservation letter that was sent out.
Yeah, I'm
you know,
sure.
for
I'm sure.
litigation, so they had to
But,
preserve it. But
you know-
we also know that they've been caught deleting and
Yes.
Yeah.
Destroying.
destroying documents.
Yes.
Right. 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 Exactly. So I mean, these are there's too many plausible questions that really raise questions about why we should have or not have these machines. In my opinion, they need to be gone. So that's why we got to keep putting pressure on these people, because the more pressure that we put on them, the more apt that they're going to start making changes that they need to change.
Yes.
So, the thing that what really irks me was the fact that this mayoral election, I mean, look at the results here. There were approximately 141,200 registered voters in Muskogee County. This is crazy, man. This doesn't make any sense at all. And the mayoral race received 36,510 votes. That's between all six of us.
Well,
So you add the totals up, that supposedly,
yeah.
right? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, somehow I wish I could get my hand on the 2024 one,
Yeah.
because there was, in the 2022 statements of voters cast, there was a significant turnout. If we went on the voters cast or the cards cast number,
Yeah.
there were some precincts that turned out 106%. Now, who knows if they're actual voters or
Yeah.
I guess legal voters, but there was some precincts that turned out and at 100. I still have the documentations, and so I'll send it to whoever wants to see it. But either way, you can't tell me if what I'm seeing shows that the voter turnout supersedes what they're telling me, like it supersedes the amount of eligible voters for the precinct. How are we not having a voter turnout? Not to mention, Trump made elections very popular. The only reason why Sarah Smith showed up in 2020 or 2015 and started voting was because of Trump.
Yeah.
The only reason why I started getting involved was after the 2020 fiasco. So if people who are like me, let me just say that, because I'm reasonable, I like to mind my business, And so if people like me are willing to step out and to get involved in the process. And they show up, they're saying, oh, okay, I got to do my due diligence. I think that if I was to turn out like I did, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of reasonable people that sees where our country is going that wants to have an input in it and to do their due diligence. That's what I personally believe, because like I said, I did not vote prior to. I didn't vote for Obama when I could have. I didn't vote for him at all. And I didn't vote until Trump. So he was like the first president that I voted for. And I've been voting ever since when I could. But like I said, I just cannot buy the low voter turnout narrative. And I think that it would be we just need to get rid of the machines. And when I ask questions, I'm blocked from things. People that I trusted and thought were good people, they just completely, say, oh, let's remove her from here. I see poll watcher discrepancies. They feed it back to Warren. She gets mad and tells whatever to the Republican Party. They boot me off of the thing saying that I was spreading misinformation. And I'm like, this is the data y'all provided to me. So, I mean, I don't know.
There's a trick that I learned in the intelligence field. Okay. If you want to know something about your enemy, keep them closer to you. Just saying. So if I want to learn more about my enemy, I'm just going to stroke you and keep you closer to me and tell me things, how much I like you and how much, I want to share this information with you.
Well, that gives me more opportunity to give you the business. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I think that that's why it rubs people so wrong, because I'm like, I'm not going to hold my tongue if I know that this is wrong. Like, we have to say something. And I'll be honest, like, I can be gasoline and not I can be like a little bit of gasoline. So like, I mean, I can understand, like, sometimes it's not always going to end out in kindness, Anyway.
But now they want everybody to come out in the runoff. Everybody is on board now. Get in the runoff. Get in the runoff. Get in the runoff. Make sure we come out and register to vote. I'm going to tell you now, if we couldn't get a quarter of if you believe the results, okay, if you believe the results, and we got just a quarter of the electoral to come out and vote, that sends a message. It tells me that nobody was interested in this election whatsoever.
Listen, you can decline to answer this, but what are you going to do for the runoff? Because I already know what I'm going to do. I already know.
I'm not going to get into it. Everybody, I've had dozens of phone calls, and everybody, hey, Mr. Lindor, what are you going to do? Are you going to get your supporters on board, with Coggle?
No.
I'm not answering that question. I'm just not going to answer it.
Well, I can answer it.
I'm going to vote for governor. That for sure. I'm definitely going to vote for governor.
So I don't have to vote for you.
And that's it. I mean, you want to ask favors of me now, and this brings up a larger issue, and I'll go to it right now. So during this campaign, okay, we were at different debates. We were at the Young Democrat debate, which was at Columbus State University. That was pretty controversial in itself, right? Because we had to have, it first started out with a policy change, right? Yeah. That we had to have so much money. $25,000 to be. I was like, who in the hell ever brought that up? See, if I wouldn't have raised a fit on that, that would have went through. And that was highway robbery, right? Yeah. That was highway robbery. That would have never flew anywhere else. But unfortunately, WRBL got caught with their pants down, and they had to do something about it. And they went to the student president, the student body president, and got it all changed and all that kind of stuff, because they were catching a lot of controversy over that. There was like, no, hell no. We want to see all the other candidates too.
Yeah.
So that changed it, right? This is the second time that I got involved in election law, because if you don't know it, there's a case out there that involves me, because I sued the Muskogee County elections, right? The board, and they brought their highfalutin fired attorneys from the state of Georgia down there, and I sued them. That is now case law, because I won and got back in the race. So did Donna Tompkins, and quite frankly, she should have never been in the race because she did not turn her paperwork in. I got to give her credit. Her attorney was a smart guy. When we had the hearing, it was at the council chambers. And he had the packet and he presented one to each one of the board members at that thing. And I told my attorney, Mark Shelton, I said, what the hell is that? He goes, shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Let's just get you back in the race. And I'm going, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
She did not turn her damn packet in. Okay. She did not turn it in. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. I was there when it all happened. Right. But I'm the only one that did turn it in. And then the election board drawed me in to try to get rid of me so I couldn't run against Dar. Talk about a bunch of bullshit. I mean, that was absolute bullshit. They were trying to get rid of me. And you want me to trust your Dominion voting machine in the election system when you did that to me.
Yeah.
I filed suit on you and won. And you know what was crazy part? I had to pay for a Superior Court judge. I had to pay for a court reporter. I had to pay for court security. I mean, I had to pay an attorney.
Themselves.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Put me through all of that stuff. It took about half of my campaign budget. But I said, you people were not going to win against me, and you didn't. And you got embarrassed beyond embarrassment.
Yeah. Well,
because Mark Shelton did a fantastic job. When he got before those people, I watched him put his lawyer hat on. And the judge, he come back and he says, I see what the hell's going on here. I got it. And he just started, boom, reprimanding those attorneys. Boom, boom, boom. And this case was used in the 2024 election, again, over in Macon. It was used again in Macon, the same issue. So do you think I'm a little harsh? And do you think that I'm a little angry since you folks tried to eliminate me? And if I have the opportunity to do it again, I will sue the election board again. If I see something that's not right, I will sue you and I'll win.
Yeah, but talking about lawsuits, like when the 2024, it was the state elections board, Georgia State Elections Board decided or said that, hey, let's make this rule. Just count the votes after the election. Just count the votes.
And I asked them to count mine again.
Exactly. But then they say that the
policy,
the Muskogee County, elections board sues. It's because of our city's lawsuit that stopped that rule from going forth in Georgia. And people can look it up if they want to, but it just begs the question: is like, why are we fighting transparency so hard?
I know.
Why are we fighting it so hard? Like, goodness gracious.
Because it's not transparent.
And that's where,
because it's not.
I agree.
And and because it's the same thing, the boy that cried wolf kind of thing. If you keep badgering and trying to cover and cover and cover and cover, and there's no sense of transparency, why are you doing it? What is the reason behind it? Why are you fighting with it?
And it feels like the information that we are given, the appearance of transparency, it's just what they want us to see, and it's what they want us to know.
Oh, and there's a lot of them want us to just keep going on. Just go on. Don't worry about it anymore, because it'll keep going on if we don't. It'll just going to keep going on and on and on.
And that's why we'll go back to, I am voting on the state level. I'm voting on, I personally have given up on Columbus elections.
Yeah.
I feel like it's deadlocked, that people are wanting to vote. I personally think that Kogel is a good person. If she gets it, then whoop, whoop. Let's see if she's better than Teresa Tomlinson, let's see if it works. But if I personally don't feel like her nor Hughley, for God's sakes, they are not for change in Columbus, which I'm so desperately wanting.
Well, look at who donated to their campaigns.
Yeah,
and come on.
I personally cannot vote for them. I just, in my good conscience, I just feel like I'm perpetuating the same toxic cycle, and that's what they wanted. Like when I saw Ledger Enquirer post the same thing that we were saying that's what they were doing. They're pitting these two people together.
Yeah, I know.
And that's exactly
what they wanted. They
happened.
didn't want me to get in that race.
So
because I got the horsepower to go against Hughley. I've got the horsepower. I'm not a fear of threat anybody suing me because I terminated somebody with a letter.
And sued the city.
I'm not, that doesn't come from me. And so I had the horsepower to go through it. And so you're about to suffer what you're about to get. So
Okay,
go ahead,
so yeah,
Julia.
all right. So a lot of people know me because of my beliefs, and that's kind of where
No.
I got my whole like,
Not your beliefs.
yeah, like radical Christian. But like I have a different take on this, and I've really wrestled back and forth with this when it comes to Columbus because I really wanted to see God do something great in Columbus, and
I
that's
did
one of the
too.
reasons why I got behind you, Mark, because I had been praying for someone to come in and really stand up for the people and really change the dynamics because there was just a lot of wickedness, a lot of evil that was going on. And it was really in the 2020 election that I started praying about who I was going to vote for because who I vote for, God holds me accountable to. And so the reason I'm saying that is because I remember telling you whenever you told me that you were going to run for mayor that I love your heart for that, but I just don't think the people really want something like you in there because there's too many people who want the corruption. There's too many people who like the comfort.
Too much
There's
money
too
at
many
stake.
yes. So when I prayed and I asked God who was going to get this mayoral election, and I didn't tell you this, but I heard him tell me that it was Isaiah. Okay, and I'm going to explain this. The reason that I believe that he said that is because God will give people what they want, whether they want it or not. So, Columbus, I want you to hear me, okay? Most of you care more about color. You care more about money. You care more about comfort. You care more about politics than you care about your own livelihood, than you care about the legacy of your people.
Yeah.
You don't care enough about seeing that when people are coming out and telling you this about the current administration, that you call us mudslingers, that you call us liars, that you say that we are the ones that creating division. So as Mark is saying, you get what you deserve.
Yep.
Okay. Just know that when things go south, and they will, okay, and I'm not saying this prophetically, I'm not saying this thus says the Lord, okay, but when I heard that Isaiah was going to become mayor, I wanted so badly to have been wrong. I really believe that this was a different year. I really believe that things were going to change, especially with Jason Patterson coming out with the, anybody but Isaiah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think that Joanne, she is a very nice person. I've seen her be very respectful in my presence. But at the end of the day, I still think the heart motive of her and Isaiah are still the same.
That's
It's
right.
very selfish. It is very, who can I serve? Whose strings are pulling me? And, I would love to be corrected, Joanne, if I'm wrong. I am very much about being corrected. But at the end of the day, the people do not want... They don't want the change. They don't. So, at the end of the day, I think people are going to get what they want.
The sad part about it is that people like me and my husband, we're very ambitious people. We have so many dreams, and we would love to build it here in our city. But we know that the school board and the city council, they are the reasons why it's so expensive here.
Yeah.
They can lower the millage rates. They can lower our property taxes. But and that's the thing, I would love to build here. Me and my husband have like great visions and plans that we can do. And I tell him, I said, don't you tell anybody anymore before they try to steal our ideas and
well, they sold plenty of mine.
Exactly. And so I told him, like, don't you say anything. I was like, unless you want it to be stolen. But like, I would love to have confidence that when I build here, it's going to be a legacy, that it's going to be long-standing, that it's going to touch the children of Muskogee County who are not as fortunate, that doesn't have money, that just needs a leg up. They just need opportunity. And I can't do that here. If I literally, we have 3 properties and we're paying close to $8,000, almost 10. That's pretty much, if you round it up, 10,000 on the tens of thousands scale. So we're paying that much money for what? We have people posting with Only Koga, posting trails that has overgrown trees. We have so many things. We have depreciated amenities. And so, like I said, I would love to build here. But me and my husband, we saw a house that was in Harris County. Like, literally, it is is little. It's like my 2,000 square foot house. I could get a house 3 times bigger than that for about the same price in property taxes and with land.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like it's just like the leadership has made this place so undesirable,
Unaffordable.
and is undesirable
Yeah.
and unaffordable. And it's very frustrating that, hey, people who would love to build here is being halted. And
Yeah.
we wonder, where's our money going? And
Well-
under Isaiah, should he get in? Because apparently that's what a lot of his supporters want. Like, the ceiling for them is an overpriced slum city. Like, I
Yeah.
don't believe
Did you
Hughley.
say overpriced slum city?
It's a slum. It's a slum.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
slum.
I
It's
wanna
a
make
slum.
sure.
So like they want this. It's like anything that we have, we can't build unless you have connections, and they'll give you a tax incentive. And it's sad. It's really sad because
It is.
I've been here for so long. I love this city, but once
We
again,
don't encourage entrepreneurship here. We do not.
No,
Not whatsoever. And I'm sure the chamber will argue, oh, we always advertise like
I
that.
know. Oh my
Or
gosh.
some bullshit like that.
And then
Come on.
And did you
Seriously.
see where they were like, oh, like, because the narrative has been from the people, there's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
So people leave. And there's like, oh, there's so much to do here. Let's go eat. Because that's about the only thing
Yeah.
you can do is go eat at a nice restaurant.
We need
baby.
another chicken place, like a hole in the head. We need another vape place, like a hole in the head. We need another convenience store on another corner,
Gas
like a hole in
station.
the head. I mean, it's ridiculous because I talked about, and Ms. Kogel speaks about, I'm a small business owner. You own a gym. Okay, I get it. But that is not what we need to create a tax base here,
Exactly.
because the small businesses pay the majority of the taxes. There's like 5 freaking taxes. I got them right here in the book, and it's ridiculous what they're paying. It makes no sense whatsoever. Yet we're encouraging small business? No.
Nope.
And on the campaign trail, I talked about medium to large corporations. So some of the candidates must have took my ideas and they started talking about small to medium businesses. How did that come along, right?
Mhm.
You couldn't even come up with your own original idea because you don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we need medium to large corporations to relocate here, to open businesses here, to start paying the lion's share of taxes and a tax base. Now, again, this is what I said, as a tax incentive, in order to get business, you have to create an incentive for them.
Mm.
But the incentive that I wanted to create was, we'll give you a sliding scale. We'll give you a tax incentive. You start out first year, you will get you your free business license. You come on board, and then there'll be a sliding scale for 5 or 6 years. It'll go, whatever it is. It's 2% now, 1%. It'll be 6% or whatever we deem.
See, I think that instead of, getting outside people in, I get that we need jobs, but I think correcting the issue with small businesses, make it affordable for them. They can hire more people.
Yeah.
If we had,
You can't even get your business license.
I know that was
How the
another
hell
thing.
can
Yeah.
you be affordable when they were 5 years behind or 4 years behind because it was COVID? That was COVID. They blamed COVID for it again.
Well,
Yeah, the finance department couldn't even get the business license.
and this is what I'm saying. It's like we need to re-incentivize the citizens. Like, there are so many creative people like me and my husband
Yeah.
that can do so much good, that can build institutions that present a lot of jobs.
I agree with
So
you.
like, why do we always have to look for outside forces? Why not enrich our citizens? Why not give them a responsibility, whether it's in the South Side? Give them, like, make it affordable. Remove the regulations. The city doesn't need that much taxes. All we need to do is fix our roads, get our trash, and hire, like, fund workers so that they can get a paycheck. And then we just need to, continue to make sure that the people that are here, that they are comfortable and that they want to continue to build their business and maybe expand their business.
One of the things that I thought about, and I think it's plausible, is that the big family names that are here, you all know who you are, okay? And we all know who they are. If you really cared about your community, other than the back pocket of your wallet, right, to make you more rich and everybody else poor, Why don't you create an incentive for small business?
Yes,
How
exactly.
about like, what do you want to call it? Like a bureau or something. You would say, look,
grant or an
I'm
organization.
part of Pease Old Management and I'm really creative of small business. So we're going to run this university, and we're going to bring all these people in and help you establish and stuff. That would be the legacy I want to leave behind. I don't give a crap if I got my name on the library at Columbus State University.
Inspire the future people, like the future generations.
Yeah.
Get like creative minds. There's been so many people that have had high GPAs here in Columbus that they go elsewhere.
I know.
Why not incentivize them if they have great ideas that they want to give back to their community that they've grown up in? We need to be focused on our citizens. We have to make them safe, make sure that they're safe, make sure that they have resources to where they can live comfortably and expand and to do well. And honestly, I think until we fix that issue and start taking care of the citizens first, helping them to be safe, making sure that they can dream again, I think that we're going to continue to see an overpriced slum city. We need people that want to serve. We need people that want to serve the people. Like, I would love to serve the people of Columbus. I would love to make it a better quality of life for the people of Columbus. But unfortunately, we have people gatekeeping, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Only the few survive. Okay. Here in Columbus, only the few survive. And those are the big names, the big money makers. But look at here. Let me just read this off. This is to understand tax obligations. Okay. For business owners in Columbus, Georgia, consider the following points. This is what small businesses got to pay. Okay. So if you want to create small business, you're going to have to take away some of these issues to help along. State income tax. Georgia has a progressive state income tax ranging from 1% to 5.75 based on income levels. Local business tax. Columbus requires a business license, right, that they can't even provide for you because the finance department couldn't get their shit together, with fees varying from business type and size. There you go. That's tax number 2. Tax number 3, sales tax. Combined sales tax rate in Columbus is 7%, which includes state and local. That's actually 7.5. You got to round that up, right? But they rounded it down. Property tax. Business owners must pay property taxes on real estate, personal property, rates by location. One more tax, franchise tax. So you got corporations may be subject to franchise tax based on the net worth or income. So if you've got a franchise like a McDonald's or whatever restaurant, you're paying taxes to that corporation also.
I wonder how many of them are actually, if those who are connected and funding certain candidates.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how many of them are actually paying these taxes, or are they getting incentives, or are they grandfathered in? Because I know that there's some properties, like if you just pass it down through a trust, you're grandfathered in. You won't even have to change your $200 your $200 property taxes that your grandfather had back in the 70s or whatever. You won't even have to pay that. It stays the same. And because I know that because, our properties, like my husband's grandmother's house, for instance, she was paying like $210 a year for her property taxes. And she was older, so, that was kind of locked in. But as soon as we took it over, that completely went up like 500. But we're paying like 13, maybe like $1,900 for property. When we bought our blue house in Waverly Terrace, that property tax was like $600. We purchased it. It's like $2,000, $2,100. And because it's rental, it's not under the homestead. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, we know that there are families here that have roots here, that they are grandfathered into property taxes that's like back in the day. And they don't even have the same kind of property taxes that new people who want to come in and start a good life have to pay. And it's unfortunate.
Well, I think if you big families here, if you want to create a legacy, a name for yourself, create these organizations that we're talking about and, sponsoring small business. I mean, that would be awesome to sponsor small business. But the last in tax is self-employment tax. Business owners who are self-employed must pay self-employment tax, which is at 15.3% of the net earnings. So look at these taxes that you got to pay. How can you start a small business or anything? That's the reason why I'm a big supporter of small business. No doubt in my mind. But the problem is these people are paying the majority of the taxes. And that's the reason why I want medium to large corporations to come in here. The incentive was, if they could relocate here, is that we would provide a tax base on a sliding scale. Okay. And maybe that works, maybe it doesn't work, but nobody else has got an idea. So the idea is we do that, but then require, if we're going to give them those tax breaks, that require that a percentage of the employment is local employees, not bringing a company in from Japan or Germany or someplace else, right? That we provide the job incentive right here in Columbus, right? And then you can go hire some other folks you want to hire. But the percentage of those jobs in the requirements that I had as mayor to put that out there, and I would work with the chamber on it, is to make sure that the majority of those jobs are going to be local.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we got to provide that help, that assistance. It's got to be there.
And I guess my final point then would be like, all these taxes.
Yeah.
Where's the money going?
Oh, yeah. Putting more money in the coffers of the city council.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Where is it going and how is it serving?
It's going to go to a $150 million jail that we got to build.
Well, apparently, didn't something go up where they're going to be spending more than we actually have taxes for?
Go figure.
I thought I saw that it was going out.
I think we're under 30 days or we're at 60 days. We're supposed to have, I can't remember, over 100 days of operating expense. We're way under that now. Way under that.
See,
it's crazy.
So all of our money that's being paid and siphoned from the citizens, and now we have the flock cameras, $80 a pop that they can find.
Yeah, but you know what's good about it? It doesn't go to the law enforcement now.
Yeah, well, it goes back
to the.
Well, the school board is awful. So like they'll just give us another e-loss to say it's for their children. Yet we have failing school rates. And it's just I wish we could just clean house, bring back the days of pitchforks and tomatoes.
The city council, look, you put candidates up there. Make sure you put candidates that are respectful, that haven't broken the law, that haven't been terminated, that are good representation of the society. I don't care what society, whether you're black, you're white, you're Korean, Chinese, I don't care. But put candidates up that are good representation of that base. But you put up the worst candidates that you can find out there for these positions. And then, there was like, woohoo, we got to have Zay Ugly there. Woohoo, we got to have Joanne Cogle there. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, put your best people forward. I don't think I was the best guy in the world, but I offered solutions and I was willing to take on the challenge.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need eagerness to be in those offices.
And we're at an hour. So we kind of got to
wrap it up quick.
Yeah. But my last point is that some of the candidates aren't even from here long term. Cogle is not from here long term.
Where's she from?
She says she's from Canada.
London,
and she's been here 6 years.
London, Canada. That's right across from Detroit.
And
I know. I've been there.
And so I'm just like, so why we're putting people who doesn't people
Did I say that?
We're putting people into these positions that have no stake in Columbus. And I'm just like, what is really going on here?
I don't know.
Yeah. So Mark, if you want to.
Well, let me finish one last point. One stinking last point. Actually, there's two, but this guy, Graham Plattner, that's running for state senate up in Maine, not state, U.S. Senate. This guy is a freaking clown. I mean, and he was a Marine veteran and Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate seat currently held by Susan Collins. Now, Susan Collins, I don't know about her. She's been all over the board, but she's got her own thing going on. He gained attention in 2025, 2026 as a populist candidate focused on housing affordability, labor issues, healthcare, and reducing influence on wealthy donors in politics. Recently, Plattner has also been in the news reports about sexually explicit text material, go
Wow.
figure, that he sent to other women during the time that he was married. His wife, Amy Gertner, publicly defended their marriage and criticized the media coverage of the suit. This is crazy. You ought to see what this guy has said. What a clown. He referred to a U.S. Army as an absolute trash and said it was full of fat, lazy trash who would rather not be in uniform, while contrasting it with his experience in the Marine Corps. He also wrote comments mocking Army soldier that received a Purple Heart recipient, Teddy Daniels, who was wounded in combat. And there's a video out there of that where he's, shooting from the hilltop and he gets wounded, drops his rifle. Reports said that Plattner criticized Daniels' actions after the firefight and wrote he didn't deserve to live. This guy is nothing but trash, absolute trash. He was also accused by veterans and groups of some politicians of disrespecting Army service members because of their remarks. He called Army fat, lazy trash, mocking wounded people. This guy is nothing but just absolute trash. So the other thing that I want to discuss is there's going to be some big changes when we talk about redistricting. And I believe that 2nd District is going to get cut in half. And I hope that the 2 districts, that they will somehow that they merge together and create at least 2 congressional positions on the 2nd. So it is what it is, but I think it's going to increase some state level representatives, and hopefully it will. But that's about all I've got to say about that. So the redistricting is coming. Hopefully it open positions, because I'm looking at state level offices.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at running here in Columbus anymore, because obviously you don't want change. You want
Yeah.
the same old, and you're going to get what you deserve in the runoff. I
Yeah.
promise you're going to get to deserve it. But the bottom line is, I'm going to run at state level. So I'm looking at, State Representative 139. I'm looking at your office. I'm hoping that these redistricting things will create maybe 1 or 2 congressional positions, because I'd love to run for Congress too, U.S.
Yeah.
Congress.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I will say just a quick point on the redistricting. That whole narrative is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, people are talking about racism and,
Yeah.
like,
When it was drawn under,
so it was drawn literally because it was racial. Like, they were compartmentalizing all the Black people in that area.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't that racist? Isn't that not constitutional? And I think that the Supreme Court
they got it right.
rightfully
They got it
reversed that. You
Yeah.
you should not draw any lines based on racial gerrymandering, or what is it? Is it redlining? Or maybe that's for real estate. I mean,
Yeah.
but like, like, you shouldn't be doing that at all. When it's anything to do with race,
Yeah.
nothing should be zoned a certain way,
No.
or you shouldn't do everything around Black people. It's literally supposed to be free, like based on population,
Yeah.
not bias
Yeah.
in any form or fashion. But I think that the narrative is very interesting, that they're saying it's racist to take it away from Black people, but yet it's racist to even do that in the first. It's not constitutional.
It's not constitutional, because they did it based on racism to begin with, and the Supreme Court got it right.
Exactly.
They got it right, and I know Governor Kemp has called back the state representatives and Senate back in session, so they're working on it now. If you remember, what was it? There was a federal judge when they tried to redistrict this last time, which was last year, was it?
Yeah, I think this is the same
They
case.
sent it back to a federal judge, said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not going to happen. You got to redistrict again. And the thing is, the Republican Party did not put up a fight with it.
No,
They
never do.
went back and allowed it to happen.
Maybe because of their buddies didn't have it. But anyway.
And the last point that I wanted to make is the Republican Party, you need to support your candidates who are good, solid,
Yes.
running
candidates,
Gosh.
people who attend meetings, not a person who comes for one meeting because some people in the party wanted that person to run for a political position. Okay. The Democrats got it right.
They do.
They
They're more
backed
organized.
100%. The Young Democrats did. The Davis Broadcasting,
Yes.
Wayne Hales, that clown.
Yeah.
But they all backed their Democratic candidates.
Well, we have
Yet
infiltrators.
but what did we say? Oh, we're not going to do it because they're nonpartisan. Get rid of the freaking rules. I'm going to put in a rule change that we used to have a rule change where you had to attend so many meetings to be in good standing.
Yes, exactly.
Good standing, right?
Exactly.
And I think there was a minimum of
it's
5.
still in
if it
there.
wasn't.
It's still in. No, you can only you can only miss, I think, 3.
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
Maybe it was for a certain. So you had the county.
Yeah.
Um.
And we didn't even
Or-
run a debate.
Yeah.
Last time they ran a debate.
Listen, I don't like the Republican Party anyway. But anyway.
All right.
let's-
Anyway, enough of that. Hopefully, like I said, in a few short days, we'll decide on what you're going to get. But all I can say is you're going to get what you paid for. So it is what it is. And let's take this out with a prayer and let's get off here tonight.
Okay, my turn.
All right.
Oh, Lord. Well, we thank you, God. We thank you for just an awesome broadcast. And even though we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, God, you were through it. You were here with us through it all. And so, Lord, we just ask, God, that you would just turn hearts, God, not to what they want personally, not to what everybody's saying in propaganda, God, but that you would turn people's hearts to your perfect will, God, that they would start to discern what's really happening, God, and that they would pray and petition heaven for change, God. Lord, my heart for Columbus is that we would have change, a lasting change for our children's future, for a legacy of Columbus, Lord. You have allowed so many great things to happen through this city, so many great inventions like Coca-Cola and Aflac and CB&T, all these things, Lord, that you've allowed to come through this area, Father. And we just ask for you to restore it again. Remove the wicked people, remove the web of corruption, God, that has a grip on Columbus. And we ask, God, that you would just give us freedom. Give us freedom to have people who will fight for each other, that would stand up for what's right, to do it in integrity. And God, that they could push the city forward in a positive direction, Father. And Lord, I just thank you, God, for what you're going to do with the show, what you're going to do in Georgia overall. And God, I just ask, God, that your presence would just be with us, Lord. Be with us. Guard our minds, bring discernment, God, heighten discernment in Georgia. Remove the web of corruption, Lord. Remove secret societies and all of these cults and brotherhoods, God, that have no place, Lord. Have no place in this area, God. We just call Columbus back into alignment with you, God, and your ways and your will. And Lord, I just thank you for Mark. God, I pray blessings over him. God, I still believe that you have something special in store for his life and for what he is called to do, God. I pray, God, that you would restore to him everything that the enemy has taken, God, for a season. And we just call it back to Mark, God, that in a moment, God, that you will reverse everything that was taken from him. That was taken from me, that was taken from my husband, and every candidate, God, that has ran for the people, God. We just ask that you would restore the things that were lost. Return the diamonds in Jesus' name, Lord. And I just thank you, God, that you are with us, that you never leave us, and nor do you forsake us, God, that you're closer than the mention of your name. And God, I thank you, God, that when there's no earthly authority that we can call on, God, that we can call on you, and that you hear us, and that in your perfect timing, that you are going to execute your perfect will, and nothing can stand against it, Lord. So we love you and we thank you, and it's in your son name, Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, folks. That's awesome. And we're about to find out in a few days. We're about to find out what's the future of Columbus, Georgia. So I've always prayed and I've always had, good ideas about where we're at and where we're going, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it in the system right now. I just don't, and I hope that somehow that changes. But there are bigger and better things in store. That this is not the end of my political career. So I want to thank you, Sarah and Julia, for being here tonight, and Sarah giving a prayer over us. And folks, hopefully you have a good night and the rest of the weekend coming up. Hopefully you have a good weekend. It won't be as rainy as it was, as it's been rained out. So God bless our local citizens, and God bless our soldiers that are deployed overseas right now. And good night.